Hello.
Hey, Hamish, how are you?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, Hamish. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So, how's the day so far?
It's been good. I'm a bit sick.
Oh,
Um, like a wee
what
bit
happened?
ill, but I'll be fine. I've just a cold kind of thing. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm well enough.
Cool, cool, cool.
How are you?
I'm doing good, Hamish. Thank you.
Good.
So, Hamish, your new album, My God, Has Got a Gun, was out on January 24th. So, would you like to tell me a bit on the songwriting and the production that goes behind this new album?
Sure thing. Yeah. So we for the first time ever went to America to record the record with the legendary Machine. Um. Who's famous for like the biggest Lamb of God record, and he'd recorded a band that's a friend's band of ours, and we heard their mix, and we were just like, this is unbelievable. Like, who did this? Machine did it. Our mate put us in touch. We spoke to Machine and had like good chemistry with him, like straight away. So off the back of that, our manager organized with Sharptone to just get us out to America, and record with him for 4 weeks in Texas. It was insane. Yeah, crazy. I'm like nostalgic just talking about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and me and Janine had written, 90% of the album, more than that, before we went to America. And we rehearsed with our drummer a bit before we went and got his input. And then when you arrive there with Machine, you set up in like a circle and you like play to him. He's got a mic
Yeah.
and you play all the songs, the demos to him, and he just like shouts like yeah, if he's like enjoying it and stuff. Like it's mental. It's such a crazy experience. So yeah, that was new for us, and I think that's ultimately why the album's turned out like so well. I hope so well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
And does the album has some kind of storyline or a theme behind it?
yeah. I mean, Janine has put a lot of like Easter eggs in it. Like she's put like Morse, like not Morse code, but like coded messages because it's about. In fact, I'm not going to say exactly what it's about because I know she's not even really fully said what it's about.
Yeah.
So I would leave that up to her because I don't write the lyrics, and all the subject matter. I don't, does that make sense? Like, so I would rather she spoke about that when she wants to speak about that, if that makes sense. But yeah, there's some underlying themes in the album for sure. In terms of like thematic themes and like sounds and stuff, oh man, we just experimented and went a bit crazy. Like it's a very varied album. There's a lot going on on the album. Every song sounds quite unique, I hope.
That's fantastic. And had the pleasure to listen to this entire album. So speaking about the album, 11 mind-blowing songs, beautifully written, great vocals from Janine and amazing
Mm.
from you, and a rock metal blend kind of album. It's a lot of modern elements with some classical stuff has been involved inside the album.
Yeah,
It all sounds really good. Each and every song for this album sounds really good. Great to listen. An entire album, totally great to listen to from the start to the end. So I want to thank you guys so much for putting up an amazing album this year. And
thank you.
as a band, as a creator, how do you guys feel about the outcome?
About the outcome, oh man, I think we've been waiting for this album to come out for, about God, eight, 9 months, 8 or 9 months. So you're in a bit of a weird headspace as it's coming up to the release of the album, like because you're anxious, you want it to be received well, but you go through periods of being like super excited and then you get a bit numb to it and then you get really excited again. It's like a total up and down journey, man. It's kind of crazy. What I will say is I think we both feel relieved that it's out and we are so excited to tour it. I will say, and I'm speaking for me and Janine when I say this, but I know we're both a bit exhausted because like the last couple of weeks have been crazy. We filmed a music video right before it came out, like My God Has Got a Gun, the title track. We filmed the video the week before and edited it and released it just right before the video came out. So it was just like all hands on deck. Crazy couple of weeks. So we're actually just taking a bit of time to just sort of chill out right now before we start rehearsing. We're rehearsing a lot for tour in February. So yeah, oh man, it's crazy because you just hope that people enjoy the record. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like we've done everything we can And I'm kind of glad it's out of our hands now. It's into other people's hands. That's good. That feels good.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. And did you guys do something special on the day of the release on January 24th?
We got drunk twice. We we uh we actually had a lunch party at Janine's flat planned where all of our friends and people that were involved in the album were going to come to her flat in Glasgow and we were going to celebrate. But I don't know if you heard, but I don't know where you're based or where you live, but there was a really bad storm on the west coast of Scotland on that day, like really bad, the worst in years and years. So basically, no one could come to the party. So it was like rather than 30 people being there, there was like eight of us, maybe seven or eight of us, I think. So we just partied and we got drunk, and me and Janine stayed up till midnight the night before and had some champagne to celebrate as well. And then on the day it came out, Janine wanted to do like a painting party, so everyone would sit and listen to the album. And you know how the album covers three colors? It's red, white, and black. That was the only colors you could really use, and it would just be you've got 45 minutes, which is the length of the album, to paint something that you want to paint. So we did that, which was really therapeutic actually. It was really nice. It was really enjoyable. So yeah, we got drunk and we did that. Um, and now we're just thinking about building the set list for the live show. That's where we're at now.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And uh, like you said earlier, like during the around the time of the release, you also came up with the official music video for the title track, "My God Has Got a Gun." And
hmm
would you like to tell me a bit about this song in particular and about the making of this video?
God, yeah. We so Janine mainly directs a lot of the videos. I help out a bit with some of the stuff like producing it and we'll sit and talk about ideas. Like me and Janine used to do all of our videos together like years ago, way back in the day when we were doing our first album and before that. Um, and with this one, she found the church, the location that we were in, because it's beautiful big church. So we had the location, and then one of the guys that was filming us had an idea to do the rotating camera thing. You know how the camera's like rotating round us? Yeah. So once those two ideas came together, we knew we had like the visual part of it down. We're like, this is gonna look sick. You know what I mean? Um, and then we had 2 days to shoot the video. And do you know what? It actually went pretty smoothly. It was one of the least stressful videos. Like music videos are so stressful because nothing ever goes fully right. Do you know what I mean? There's always like things that go wrong or something you haven't accounted for. But the whole process went really well, which was almost we needed that with the album coming out. It felt like deserved because the last few videos have been a bit more stressful. They've been good, but they were hard work. So yeah, once we'd done that, I edited it with Janine, and we've kind of done it together for years, so we just kind of know what we want. Like we can kind of see it before we've done it, if you know what I mean. And if we're doing it ourselves, then we have full control over what other people see of it, which is an artist is the biggest thing you can have, I think. Do you know what I mean? So. In terms of the subject matter of the song, that's more of a Janine question. But I do know it is very a lot of the lyrics are quite like sexual and challenging in that kind of regard, which I find quite interesting. She talks a lot about her stories and her past with things like that, and mixes it in with some fantasy elements as well. And good and evil, and she kind of represents that with the kind of evil character she plays in the video and the heavy part of the breakdown where she's got all makeup and stuff like. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we don't have to do another video for another year. We have a wee break from doing videos for a while.
Good. And speaking of touring, are you guys having some big plans for 2025?
Yep, we are leaving in the middle of February to tour Europe and UK. Um, we're playing a few places for the first time, a couple cities we've never been to before, and we're just headlining them straight away, which is terrifying. Which is really scary. So, but we've toured Europe a lot, especially before lockdown. We toured Europe a lot, and we built up quite a good fan base there, especially in Germany. Got quite a good fan base in Germany. And then we come back to the UK at the end to do four of like the biggest headline shows we've ever done. So trying not to overthink it all too much because it's just like the pressure is quite a lot to make those shows good. But we always come to realize that as long as me, Janine, and Martin are well rehearsed and we're having a good time on stage, the crowd has a good time. So that's kind of like that's the main focus over the next few weeks is just to make sure we're as prepared as possible, we feel as comfortable as possible, and we're as fit as possible as well. You know, because it's a
Interesting.
big tour. It's one of the it's the biggest headline tour we've ever done. So
Mhm.
um, crazy. Yeah.
Cool. And with I know right now it's you and Janine in the band, but for touring, are you having some guest musicians, or what is the plan?
So we've always had a session drummer play with us, who's been in all the music videos you will have seen. He's been our drummer for maybe about 6 years, I think, maybe 2018, 2019. And he's just a session drummer. He's not in the band, but he feels like he kind of is in the band because he's like he's so close to us, and he would be weird to play a live show without because he adds so much energy and confidence. Do you know what I mean? Um, Although none of us are really that confident, we're all just winging it, and we've just done it for so long that you just kind of know what to do, and you all rely on each other, which is good because I think once we're on stage, we all trust each other. So yeah, it's just him. It's just the three of us on stage. Keep it simple, and it's too expensive, man. I mean, it's so expensive to tour, so to bring out other people on stage would just be thousands of pounds that we can't really afford. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I think we'd maybe like a bass player one day again on
Yeah.
stage because bass players just look cool as hell. um,
Cool.
but one day,
But you don't have plans to bring in uh, permanent members more than you both, right?
nah, no, because at the end of the day, this band is a creative outlet and a business, and the less people you have involved in that, the easier it is to not break up or disagree on stuff. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Um, and it wasn't even through choice. The old members, like we used to be a four-piece band years ago, and they left of their own accord. You know what I mean? It was just we weren't making much money at all, and I think they wanted to move on as well. So it was kind of just left up to me and Janine to carry the torch forward. You know what I mean? And it's just like imagine making any decision with less people. It's just easier. That's the only way I can put it, man. Do you know what I mean? That's the only way I can put it. Not that it was like a nightmare in the past. It wasn't at all. Old members were really close, really, really close friends of mine. In fact, two of my best friends actually. But like, it's just like, yeah, you want to keep this as simple as possible because you want to get as much longevity out of it as possible. Do you know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
best way I can think of answering it. Yeah.
Cool, cool. And speaking of the band, you came up early 2017 with your self-titled album, and
Yep.
right now you have four full-length albums. And so, how do you feel about the road that you have traveled so far?
Wow. That's a big question. Um, I haven't I have I haven't really ever done anything else than this. I've worked like, I've gone to university and I've studied part time, for the first, my God, 8 years of this band. So I don't really know any different than to do this band. Do you know what I mean? So to establish like just who me and Janine are as people, like we've not done anything else other than this, really, as like a real like invested our lives into it basically. So um I think I'm quite proud of us for that, for seeing it through all the hard times, because it's always quite challenging. Um, there's just so much you got to deal with. You got to be a jack of all trades. You got to be creative. You got to be a social media manager. You got to be a business manager. All these things, and it's like I'm proud of how much we've learned. I'm proud of how far we've come. Um, But my head's a bit screwed up though, because it's never enough. You're always just like, right, what's next? What's next? What's next? You can't help it than trying to think of the next thing. But I think ultimately me and Janine have tried to become much more just like in the present and be like, we are proud of what we've done. Because this is not gonna last, nothing lasts forever. This is not gonna last forever. In fact, bands making it to their fourth album is actually relatively rare. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of bands might get a couple of albums and break up. So it's kind of crazy that we're on our fourth album. And it's kind of crazy that I feel like we have so much left to give as well. Like I feel like we've not even fully cracked the formula yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure loads of bands say that, but I really believe that. So that keeps the future really exciting.
Mm, Ramesh. And I know there has been a lot of amazing moments over the years, but is there something special that you want to share with me today?
Wow. I I mean, last year for us was crazy because we headlined a venue in the UK called the Ballroom, if you know it, in London. Do you know that venue? We headlined there, and that was just like, I went to that venue to watch a band called Holding Absence. Do you know Holding Absence? That was one of the first shows, or maybe the second show I went to after lockdown, and they headlined it. And I went with my partner at the time, and I remember just being like, "Holy, this is crazy!" Like this, 1,500 people ever, and just being like, I remember saying to her, I was like, "Man, if we can headline this room one day." And at that point, it didn't really seem that realistic, but the fact that 2 years later it actually happened is insane. Like it's actual. If you'd spoke to us before lockdown, that would have never happened. Not in a million years. We were so far off that. So the fact that we got to that last year was maybe our biggest achievement so far. Um, so that was one of them, and then of course going to America. Even the fact that we got to go to America as a band is again quite rare these days. The fact that we got to do it, even if we never do it again, we got to do it. Do you know what I mean? We all went in a small van. There was two bands in the van. We were crammed. There was no room. We were touring for 3 weeks. It was crazy. We had no money. All the classics. Do you know what I mean? But like I said earlier, I'm already really nostalgic about talking about that time. So, yeah, I'm so happy we got to do those things while we had the chance to do them.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Hamish, do you feel like you're living the dream, or do you think there's a lot of more things to be achieved?
Oh, I feel like we're not even close. I feel like and I mean that in the best way possible. Like, there's so many things behind the band that we are dealing with that is hard. It's really difficult. You're dealing with motivation. You're dealing with the crazy balance of finances in a band. Honestly, running a band is more about finances like than anything else. It's insane. Like managing that is the hardest part. But remove the crap stuff. I feel like we have so much to offer still. Like it's not even I feel like we're not even close to being the best we can be. And thank God I feel like that because we will keep going. Do you know what I mean? Um rarely rarely do Rarely are a lot of bands remembered for some of their later albums. There's a few bands for sure, but I feel like we just have so much to offer still. And that excites me. That really, really excites me. I think we're both quite excited to write again, to write more music again. Not like I think Janine's already started writing a wee bit, and I definitely want to as well. But just I'm so glad we still have that passion. Because we've been doing this for 13 years or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Which is it's quite a while. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully we can make it another 13.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
awesome. And speaking about your music, are you content with the type of music that you're creating now, or there are more experimentation that will happen in the coming years?
Sorry, man. Say that again. Oh,
Or speaking about your music, are you specific to this kind of music that you're creating right now, or there will be more experimentation, or there will be changes in the kind of music that you're creating in the future?
sure. I think we will definitely experiment more next time. I feel like this album and our last album, we released another album called Nula before this. I feel like those two albums were both when we started to really experiment a bit more. Um, I think it began in our second album, but our third album we found and more of a niche, and then the fourth album is definitely a bit more out. It's a bit more weird. This new album is a weird album. Like we're quite like again we're probably quite a niche band, but yeah, I think we're gonna go crazy on the next album. Like I feel like we're gonna be in a better place in our lives on the next album as well. Although some people might argue that means the art's not as good. People often like tortured artists. Maybe that means it's not as good. But for me, the tortured artist thing, I don't know. I think I'd rather be in a good headspace when I was working on music because in the past that's worked better for me. Yeah, I don't know. I think me and Janine both want it to be heavier. We want to be a heavier band. Like we want the music to be heavier. That's the one thing I would say. And I would like to find the good things in our music and streamline them even more, so they're just more direct of what's good about our band and just push that more. But we'll forever be figuring that out. God, that journey will never end. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So how
Hmm.
many years will take to get back into the studio again to write new material?
God, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, we can write at home. Like we could write an album over the next couple of months right now if we wanted to. But because we're prepping for tour, we're heading on tour, we've got festivals. We want to do a lot more with this album. I don't want to just like there's such an issue in like modern. It's because of how fast society works. But you put something out and then within a week, you think people don't care about it anymore. Like because Spotify wants new music all the time, media wants new content, social media wants, you know what I mean? So I really want us to be able to sit on this album and get a lot out of it. And by that I mean more tours, really let it grow for people. Because think about the more time you spend with an album, like how much more it starts to mean to you. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, like the effect that has. So personally, right now, I would like to wait a couple of months till I start writing personally again. But I know we're both itching to, and I know Janine has already started to a wee bit. So I'm probably lying. I'm literally lying to you. I bet in like a month's time, I'll be like gagging to write music. Probably like sometimes you'll get a feeling for it, and you just got to strike while the iron's hot and get the ideas down. You know what I mean? But it might not be another year till we record it in a studio. You know what I mean? So. And it's also our first album's 10th anniversary in 2027 as well.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know. I don't know. There's options. There's different things we can do, which is that's so cool to have that as well. We'll see.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And speaking about the fans, like how is the support in Scotland when it comes to other part of the world?
What's the support like in Scotland?
Yeah, in Scotland for you guys.
Yeah, yeah, it is really good now, but I think we have always been quite a Marmite band in Scotland. When we were coming up in Scotland, we really struggled to find a footing in the scene of bands. And we were friends with a lot of the bands, but we just never really managed to fit in. We genuinely were outcast. We were kind of outcasts in the Scottish music scene. So we actually found a footing in England before Scotland. And to this day, that's still true. Like we still do more shows in England. We sell more tickets in England. We play all the festivals in England. Sorry, we don't really play many festivals up here. We would usually play festivals down south. That's just what's happened. We didn't ask for that. That's just how it's worked out. Do you know what I mean? Glasgow will always be our home, and we definitely have plans for bigger things we want to do in Glasgow, as all bands that come from Glasgow do. There's certain like milestones you want to reach, but yeah, England actually really accepted us first, if I'm being honest with you, in a bigger way. Um, and then we've been slowly building on Europe for years now. But yeah, it's cool to just be able to go other places that are not your home and there's people there. It's kind of crazy. Like that's crazy. Be it 50 people or 200 people or 1,000 people, it's kind of that's cool as hell. Do you know what I mean? So I have quite a positive outlook on the fact that we've taken off more in other countries. Like that's cool to me. Like it doesn't really bother me. Like I'm happy that's happened rather than not happened. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And Hamish, finally, any message that you have for the fans around the world?
Oh my God. Please, yeah, please come to the shows. There are still some tickets left for Europe and UK. We're dying to get back to America. We'd love to come back to America, and there's a lot of people asking us to come to Australia as well. That's become like a thing as well, which is so cool. And the classic like Brazil people have been like, come to Brazil, come to Brazil. Oh, the classics, man. So it's like all I would want to say is like, hold on. I think we will get to these places. See these people that are waiting for us to come. I think some of these places will happen. I genuinely think we will get to some of these places. But if not, come to one of the English shows or one of the European shows. But yeah, I just hope people are enjoying the record, and I just want people to know that like we feel like that's just the beginning. As corny as that sounds, I feel like we have so much to give, and I hope our fan base are as excited by that as we are.
And Hamish, I want to thank you so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on the show.
No
And
problem.
a real pleasure to listen to My God Has Got a Gun. Great album. Like I said earlier, great album from the start to the end. Each song has you guys have done an amazing work. So great to listen to each and every song from this album. It's not just picking one track or another track from this album
Yeah,
as the best of songs. Not like that. The entire
love
album
that.
totally mind blowing. So thank you so much to you and Janine for putting up an amazing album this year. And I wish you guys all the best. I'm really hoping someday we can meet on the road.
Oh, Keith, I'd love that. That'd be amazing. Like, where do you stay?
I live in India, but I do travel around the
Oh,
world.
oh, dude, I'd love if we could come over. I'd love if we can come over. Like, fingers crossed. I don't know if anyone knows who we are over there,
They
but
will
we'll
know.
see.
They will know from now
Okay,
on.
okay, okay, cool, cool. Oh man, yeah, we'd love that. And thank you so much for having me and for the questions. It's been lovely.
Thank you. Thank you, Hamish. Take care and have a great evening out there.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Bye
Speak
bye.
later, dude. Bye, bye, bye.